Let me know in the comments below what you think of when you hear the words South Korea. Do you think of the amazing cuisine they have like pajeon or the Korean barbecue, kimchi? Do you think about their technology like the fast speed internet they have over there or the phones they export? Do you think about the number of cosmetic surgeries they have? Or do you think about K-pop idols? How's it going, everyone? So last week I talked about Karina, who is a member of the girl group aespa. Basically, the gist of the whole thing was her having to apologize to her fans for having a boyfriend. The apology itself wasn't delivered verbally, but rather with a handwritten note, which seems to be a bit of a common practice for people who are under public scrutiny over there. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? These people are public figures and celebrities, so they probably have more of an online presence. Not just an online presence, too, but like, the public knows about their existence. But this time around, I do kind of want to put the spotlight on the fans themselves. Now, mind you, this is not to lump all the fans together into one disgusting pile. I'm going to be talking specifically about the fans who put their idols on a pedestal and seem to live and breathe the Sasaeng lifestyle. Welcome to the darker world of the K-pop idol fandom. Now, obviously, don't take my words as fact. These are just my observations as a former K-pop listener and now a casual K-pop fan. Before we dive into what a Sasaeng fan is, and I'm sure a lot of you are already familiar with what a Sasaeng fan is, I just wanted to point out that in my opinion there are tiers to being a fan. The first level would be the casual fans. These are fans who are aware of a band's existence and probably listen to only a few songs, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. You shouldn't be gatekeeping bands anyway. Then there are the regular fans who want to support the bands by buying their albums and maybe attend a few concerts here and there, and they probably also know a good number of songs, and they're also probably familiar with the members of the band. These people probably won't buy too much merch, maybe if it really interested them. Level 3 would be the hardcore fans who know every single song, know every single album, buy every single album, and buy whatever merch they can get their hands on. These people also probably had the opportunity to take a photo op with their favorite band, and they like to show it off any chance they can get. They've also probably seen their favorite bands live a couple of times. These people still have their sanity in them, okay? Don't worry about that. But the next level of hell is gonna be the Sasaeng fans. These people deserve a section of their own in The Witcher's Guide to Monsters. Sasaeng fans are like fiends. Sasaeng fans live and crave for the attention they get from their, the person or whatever idol group they obsess over. So what exactly is a Sasaeng fan? Well, according to our most valuable and trustworthy source of knowledge, Wikipedia says, a South Korean term for an obsessive fan who acts in ways that invade the privacy of Korean public figures in the entertainment industry. It also goes without saying that the modus operandi for these people is stalking. Now, when I first started listening to K-pop, I had absolutely no idea that these people existed or that there was even a term for these people. And I was always under the impression that anyone who enjoys listening to music or a certain content from certain people or whatever celebrities they enjoy watching in shows or TVs, if they enjoy what they're doing, they're considered fans. And I was always under the impression that the term stalker was exclusively used for criminals or assassins. When I was growing up listening to K-pop, there was this one incident with a member from 2PM, and for me this changed what the definition of stalker really meant. Like, this really pulled back the curtains. If anyone from that time remembers, you probably know what I'm talking about, but if you're very curious and, if you want to satisfy your curiosity, look up Taehyun's Red Letter. It was just a very creepy incident in itself, and not to say the least, absolutely vile. Just thinking about it makes my skin crawl. So while Wikipedia says that most Sasaengs are females between the ages of 13 to 22, that doesn't mean that it's exclusively females who do this. I also very vividly remember this one incident involving Girls' Generation's member Taeyeon. While the group was performing Run Devil Run on stage, there was this one man who managed to sneak on stage, and as far as I can remember, he made a beeline towards Taeyeon and grabbed her and attempted to take her off stage. Luckily for her though, her fellow bandmate and friend Sunny saw what was happening and immediately reacted with lightning speed, grabbed Taeyeon and did not let go. In the footage, we also see one of the hosts, I think, for the event stop the Sasaeng in his tracks. If my memory serves right, I don't think too much happened in the aftermath except for Taeyeon not pressing charges, and I think I might be wrong though, someone fact check me if they can, but the Sasaeng fan claimed mental illness and the case was dismissed. I could be remembering wrong though, so if anyone remembers what happened, please fact check me in the comments below. But in the recent years, with K-pop's global popularity rising, these Sasaeng incidents are no longer exclusive to Korea. As a matter of fact, recently the girl group twice had an incident with a Sasaeng fan. If you guys are familiar with the news, you'll know that the stalker was infatuated with Nayeon and believed that he was in a relationship with her, which he obviously wasn't, but in his fantasy mind this is how things were. Now things got so bad that he actually boarded the same plane as the girl group, and even went as far as sending death threats to her if she didn't meet him in person or refused to see him. Now I won't show his face on the video, but apparently he kept visiting the company headquarters, which is JYP Entertainment in South Korea, as well as sending love letters through video on YouTube, which is unimaginably a scary position to be in. It's not every day someone confesses their love to you while threatening to kill you. Which begs the question, how exactly do Sasaengs manage to get the flight details and board the same plane as their favorite group? The answer to that question is actually very simple. As I mentioned before, Sasaengs dedicate their entire lives to getting closer to their idols. For example, I am under the impression that most Sasaengs would have a shrine dedicated to their favorite member or their favorite group. That means the shrine needs to have a lot of merch. And as some people know, K-pop albums are like a gacha game. If you buy one album, you'll usually get a photo card of one member. Now usually each member gets a different set of photo cards, so for example, let's say one member has 4 different photo cards in an album. You know, basically different photos of the member. So if a Sasaeng wants to collect those 4 cards, they have to buy 4 albums or look for someone to trade with. Now trading would obviously be the best option for us who are financially savvy. But let's assume that the Sasaeng wants everything to be crisp and clean. The card must not have been touched by anyone else but them, so they go ahead and buy 4 more albums. But remember this fact, most K-pop groups are more than 3 people, so if we're looking at the numbers, you get the idea. That's a lot of money to spend on albums. As with most things, money is the answer to the problem. So they go ahead and get a part-time job, or as it's called in Korea, alba. So usually these part-time jobs would involve being a server in a restaurant or working at a convenience store. But if these people have the experience or if they have the network and the pull, they can work in the tourism or telecoms industry, which is where they get a lot of the private information from. Now they could also throw money at these people to bribe them into giving them the private information. And I'm not sure if that happens all too often, but it probably does. Now you can probably tell that Sasaengs are absolutely ruthless. They're basically everywhere. They're in the telecoms industry, they're in the tourism industry, and they have eyes everywhere. And I'm not saying this as a joke, they literally do have eyes everywhere. As a matter of fact, Sasaengs have their own chat network where they update each other in regards to where their idols are and what they're doing. It's quite literally a rat infestation. Now with that information, it's not too far-fetched to believe that Sasaengs do end up working in airports or manage to bribe airport workers to sell information to other Sasaengs, which is a win-win situation for whoever is selling the information because for one, they're being paid by the company, and second, they're being paid by Sasaengs who are desperate to get closer to their idols, until the company eventually finds out and they sack the fucker who keeps selling the information. Now, obviously with the information that's being sold by the airport worker, it includes the seating arrangements of the idols, but you know, you get the idea of how the Sasaengs managed to get quote-unquote closer to their idols. Very quickly, let's take the spotlight away from Sasaengs for a minute here and talk about the way K-pop companies promote their idols. Now, I'll be focusing on the major companies here, namely SM, YG, JYP, and HYBE. Most marketing tactics do seem to focus around selling the idea of being in a parasocial relationship with an idol. Once a group debuts and there's enough demand to see more of them, as mentioned before, they eventually do sell albums containing photocards of each member, which is harmless by itself in my opinion, but it's when bulk buying albums in order to get a certain member's photocard set is where it becomes a problem, because these albums do eventually get chucked away. In fact, it was reported that a foster home in South Korea received so many of these albums and donations, the kids eventually got tired of them. Which is kind of obvious, don't you think? These kids don't want albums, they want toys. I just hope that one day they get donated a ton of Lego sets. Yes, to play with them, but also to throw it at the people who donate albums. May they feel the pain of 10,000 suns. There is, however, another incentive to bulk buy albums though. And please do correct me if I am wrong, but sometimes when you pre-order these albums, you do get put into a raffle where you can win the opportunity to have a brief call with your favorite idol. In these calls, you can talk about anything you want as long as it's appropriate. And sometimes we do see fans asking idols if they will go out with them, and depending on the idol, they will either jokingly accept or reject the idea. Fan meets are also another event, but this time around it's not just a one-on-one call, you've got other fans around. But these fan meets are versatile as it can be with the entire group who are promoting their current album, or it can be one member of the group promoting their solo album or celebrating their birthday. So it kind of gives you the vibe of, hey, it's me, your favorite idol. You're invited to my birthday party, please attend. Do you kind of see where the parasocial relationship thing kind of starts? Not to mention, there are also apps companies sign their idols up for where they can send personalized messages to fans as long as the fans pay the small subscription fee of the idol they want to talk to. I think the apps were called Bubble or Weavers, I don't remember correctly, but I do know one of them shut down. With these apps, they can also go live, have a quick chat with their fans, show them what's up. It's essentially the same services Instagram offers, but with extra steps. So with all that information about the way these companies sell the idea of being in a relationship with idols, it's not that hard to believe that impressionable young people aged 13 to 22 will start to actually think they are in a relationship with their favorite idol. That's going to wrap it up for this video, but I want to know what you guys think. How would you go about solving this problem? Should companies change the way they market their idols? Should idols have tighter security, possibly sacrificing an idol's private time even more? Or should idols take the route Doja Cat took and take a firm stance? Let me know your thoughts and suggestions below. Give the video a thumbs up or thumbs down, and if you want to, you can also sub to the channel. Anyway, see ya.